What's up, guys? For today's movie, I will tell you a story of an ordinary man who became the hero and champion in people's heart, even though he's not the real one. So, just relax out there, and let me tell you what happened in the movie. The film opens in the land of Kahndaq in 2600 BC. While the land thrived for centuries, things changed when the tyrannical King Ahk-Ton took over and enslaved his people to mine a powerful material called Eternium to create the Crown of Sabbac in the hopes of achieving a monstrous power. When an elder man finds Eternium, he is immediately hounded by other slaves in hopes of being rewarded by the king. Then a boy helps the man to get freed and delivers the Eternium to one of the king's soldiers. But instead of a reward, the elder man is stabbed and thrown off in a cliff. And the boy's father pulls him away and urges him not to try and be a hero. When they are going back to work, the boy suddenly grabs the Eternium from the soldier and runs off with it, but he eventually caught and sentenced to death. When he is about to be executed, his body vanishes, and he appears before the Council of Wizards, who choose the boy as their champion and give him the powers of Shazam. However, the legend states that the champion confronted King Ahk-Ton and destroyed him and his palace before vanishing forever. In the present day, Kahndaq has fallen under the rule of a mercenary team called Eternium, who are currently looking for a fugitive named Adriana, but with the help of a boy who happened to be her son, she passes through a security checkpoint with her brother Kareem, plus their companions named Ishmael and Samir. The team arrives in front of a rocky mountain with a cave in it, where Adriana hopes to find the Crown of Sabbac for research purposes, and there, they search for the crown, while Kareem is waiting in the van. When all of a sudden, Samir's body falls from above, and then, the Eternium mercs show up and point their gun in him. In another instance, Adriana and Ishmael manages to found the crown and get it, but the Eternium soldiers suddenly showed up and fired unto them. Luckily, she'd run away, but the leader of Eternium said that they will kill her brother if she didn't show and give the crown. So, she has no choice, and forces to give up the crown to save her brother and Ishmael. And when the Eternium soldiers got the crown in their hands, they said that they will kill them. But when the leader of the soldiers point his gun to Adriana, she begins to read the inscription in the cave. And when she speaks the name Shazam, the Kahndaq's supposed champion named Teth Adam has awakened from his long slumbered. The Eternium soldiers tries to attack Adam, but they are swiftly torn apart one by one. Due to the battle, the cave begins to collapse. So, Adriana finds a way to escape with Kareem, and Ishmael was left behind because the rocks falls unto him. Outside the cave, other members of Eternium are waiting, including choppers and tanks, and when they see Adam, they begin to attack him with all their fire powers. But it didn't work, and instead, they've tasted the power of him. Then, he begins to counter-attack and slaughters them, and when he thinks that he's done with them, he approaches Kareem and Adriana who are inside the van. But a rocket made of Eternium is fired at Adam, wounding him when it explodes. Then he tries to fly away but falls, so Adriana decides to take him and bring him to her house. Meanwhile, Ishmael turns out to be alive, as he is the one who's leading the Eternium and wanted to get the Crown of Sabbac for himself. Then he tells the other agents to find the location of Adriana. After that, superhero Carter, known as the Hawkman, speaks to Amanda about Adam's awakening and the chaos he left behind. She then enlists him to gather his very own team. Then he introduced Maxine, known as the Cyclone, who can control wind and sound. Al Rothstein, aka the Smasher, who has a suit that can make him grow, which he inherited from his uncle. And Kent, known as Dr. Fate, who wears a helmet that chose him and gives him power of sorcery. While touching the helmet, Fate sees a vision of destruction and what appears to be Hawkman being killed. This group of people with superpowers are called the Justice Society. Together, they fly off to Kahndaq to bring Adam to Amanda. After that scene, Adam wakes up in the bedroom of Adriana's son named Armon, who is obsessed with superheroes and is excited to meet the champion of Kahndaq. But Adam ignores him, and he walks through the wall and formally meets Kareem and Adriana, who explains how the citizen sees him as a hero and protector of Kahndaq. But Adam says that he is no hero. He flies into the city and sees a huge statue of the champion. Then Armon gets some Eternium mercs to follow him to get Adam's attention. And when the Eternium mercs were about to hurt him, Adam saves him and fought them with ease. Later on, The Justice Society arrives at Kahndaq and sees what's happening. So, Hawkman and Dr. Fate immediately exit their jet to save two Intergang soldiers that Adam dropped. After that, they go after him, and Adam battles the two of them, before Cyclone and Smasher have entered the scene. Despite their efforts, they couldn't totally defeat him. Then Adriana confronts the Justice Society, and tells them that none of them bothered to help Kahndaq the whole time that Intergang was taking over, and Adam is the first person to give them what they deserve. But Hawkman doesn't think they need to be killed to be brought to justice. After the commotion, Adam left the scene and goes to the place where the castle of King Ahk-Ton was built before. Then the Justice Society and Adriana have come to an arrangement that they will try to talk to him. And when Adriana finds Adam, she speaks to him over what she had learned from the Justice Society regarding his true story. They said that Adam's confrontation with King Ahk-Ton was said to be out of revenge, and when he unleashed his power to kill the king, it went out of control, and destroyed not only King Ahk-Ton and his forces, but a large part of Kahndaq. Then the wizards imprisoned Adam in a cave where Adriana found him. Meanwhile, Ishmael gets to Adriana's apartment and aims his gun at Kareem and Armon, since he knew that they have the Crown of Sabbac. Kareem fights Ishmael long enough for Armon to try and get away, but Kareem was shot. Then the Intergang soldiers go after Armon. Luckily, he's able to call Adriana to ask for help. So, Adriana asks Adam to save her son. After hearing that, he immediately flies to where their apartment was located, and when Adam arrives, he beat all the Intergang soldiers. Unfortunately, they've got Armon and flies through a hoverbike. Adam goes after them, along with the Justice Society, but they didn't know that it was only a decoy to help Ishmael to escape the scene. Everyone regroups at the apartment, where Dr. Fate has tended to Kareem's wound. He also tells Adriana not to blame herself for the death of her husband. Then Hawkman brought two Intergang soldiers, in an attempt to interrogate them for information. But Adam tries to threaten them for information, by dropping them from above. And because of fear, one of them says that Ishmael is headed to a mine. Adam and Hawkman get into a fight, after disagreeing over their methods of handling business. They crash their way through the apartment, but luckily, they found the crown hidden in Armon's room. They've all decided to go to the mine to save Armon. Upon arriving at the place, Adam proceeds to mow down more Intergang soldiers, before they finally found Ishmael, who got Armon as a hostage. They tried to negotiate unto him, but Ishmael said that he only wants the crown before he gives back Armon to them. So, they have no choice, and forced to give up the crown for the boy's life. When Ishmael got the crown, he didn't do what he promised. Instead, he said that he will kill Armon and Adriana. He also thanks them for bringing the crown to its rightful owner, before revealing that he is the last descendant of King Ahk-Ton. After that, Ishmael attempts to shoot the boy before donning the crown. Adam manages to fly fast enough to catch the bullet, but his powers explode, frying Ishmael to death. Then, Hawkman protects Adriana on time with his wings. Dr. Fate shields Armon, and Smasher saves Cyclone from the blast. After seeing the extent of his destruction, and causing Armon to be wounded, Adam flies away and stands in front of the statue of the champion. He is then followed by Hawkman, and forced to divulge his backstory, after Ishmael had mentioned the name Harut. Then, Adam explains that Harut was his son, and the one who's chosen by the wizards to become the champion. But after King Ahk-Ton's assassins attacked them, causing his wife being killed, and him nearly dead, Harut decided to give his powers to Adam to save his life. Sadly, the assassins hit Harut with an arrow that resulted to his death. Because of that, Adam become enraged and go after King Ahk-Ton, and kill all of them with no mercy. Realizing that he will bring more devastation than protection, Adam said the word Shazam, and gives up his powers willingly, allowing the Justice Society to bring him with them. After that, they bring Adam to Amelia, who's in a base under the sea, and it serves as his prison. They also ensure that he will not speak the word Shazam again, so that he cannot regain his superpowers. On their way home, Cyclone and Adriana tried to decipher the writing on the crown. Adriana originally interpreted it as, "Life is the only path to death," but it turns out that she was reading it upside down, and that the phrase is, "Death is the only path to life." Then they thought that Ishmael purposely let Adam kill him, because he knew the truth on how to unleash the true power of the crown. Meanwhile, Dr. Fate tells Hawkman about his vision that he's gonna die, but expresses hope that there is a way to change his future. In another instance, Ishmael is in hell and is found by the demons that name him as their champion. He then emerges as a large red-horned demon, after he speaks the word Sabbac. After that, he proceeds to rise an army from hell to terrorize Kahndaq. The Justice Society tried to fight Ishmael, who's now became Sabbac, but they are easily outmatched by him. While the superheroes followed Sabbac and arrived at the ruins of King Ahk-Ton's palace. Then, Dr. Fate created a shields, and prevented Hawkman, Cyclone, and Smasher from entering, as he realized this is how he can save Hawkman from dying. Inside the shield, Dr. Fate battles Sabbac with all his might, but he knew that he couldn't defeat him. So, he uses his powers to contact Adam, and get him to wake up and emerge from his pod. When Adam wakes up, he fought the guard at the base, and tries to swim out but falls unconscious. Then, he sees a vision of his wife and Harut greeting him, as he believes he is ready to rejoin them. Harut tells Adam that it's not his time yet. Then Amon rounds up the citizens to fight back with him, and help Kareem and Adriana. Adam manages to make it to the surface, and said the word Shazam to get his powers back. Then, he immediately flies back to Kahndaq to save all of them. When he arrived, Sabbac had already killed Dr. Fate. Then he fought Sabbac with the best of his abilities. Later on, Hawkman, Cyclone, and Smasher make their way into the fight. Then Sabbac appears to impale Hawkman as he died in Fate's vision, but he has used Fate's helmet to create illusions of himself to trick him. With Hawkman's approval, Adam taps into his killer instincts to fight Sabbac, while Hawkman also helps him by holding Sabbac, ending with him grabbing the villain by his horns and splitting him into two, which also causes the undead to be wiped out. After the fierce battle, Adam part ways with the Justice Society, while the people of Kahndaq are chanting, "Long live the champion." Then, Adam chooses to destroy the ruin of King Ahk-Ton's throne, and vowing to be the protector of Kahndaq. He also tells Adriana that Teth Adam is too old-fashioned, and that he will now be known as Black Adam. Before the movie ends, Adam is found by a drone sent by Amanda Waller. She tells him to stay in Kahndaq and don't ever try to leave, or she will send forces after him. But Adam challenges her to do so, and then blows up the drone. From the smoke, a figure descends from the sky, then he approaches Black Adam and tells him they need to talk. And when he steps out, a familiar face is shown, revealing none other than the last son of Krypton, who are known as Superman. And that's the end of the story, of an ordinary man, who became the champion and hero, even though he is not the chosen one. Thank you for watching, guys. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you in our next movie recap.